All right, we're going to get right into it. Today's Friday. It's the last day of the week. And this is when they always like to squeak out the news stories that are really important, but they're hoping that you miss, especially while they're distracting you with hurricanes, wars and rumors of wars, the election, Trump the fascist, which is totally Operation Mockingbird, and on and on and on, right? So many distractions because they want to keep your eye off the real focus, which was the big fat lie about COVID that they propagandized on the American people and the globe, the whole world, for the last, 4 or 5 years. There's still people actually getting those shots in their bodies, along with flu shots. You guys, I implore you to please do your homework, okay? There is no such thing as a good vaccine, all right? And I said it. And I have a right to say it. It's my First Amendment right, and it is my opinion, and that's why I can share it with you on this platform, okay? And no one should be taking my videos down, so make sure you share this video with your friends. It might get taken down. Anything to have to do with this subject matter has been taken down, demonetized, removed from the platform even. Whole channels, poof, gone. All because they were trying to warn you guys about what was going on. Here's Robert Kennedy Jr. telling you.
Well, there was something else, another article about Bill Gates that came out today that said he's just been indicted. He's been indicted in the Netherlands for lying to the public about the COVID vaccine. And he's going to have to go to trial. You think that he wants to go to trial here in the United States of America? You think maybe that's one of the reasons he chose to give $50 million to Kamala Harris?
Now, there's another win happening, too, here on Friday, because this just came out. Some Bay Area Rapid Transit, that's BART. That's like their subway system in San Francisco. They actually claimed religious exemptions, and they were denied and fired from their job, right? And I always am a firm believer that if you stand up and do the right thing, you're going to win in the end, but sometimes it takes a while for the end to show up. You don't get the immediate results. Well, they ended up suing BART, and they won.
So we've been following a lawsuit filed by BART workers who lost their jobs over a COVID vaccine mandate. A federal jury has sided with the fired workers. There are 6 of them total in the lawsuit, and each will receive more than $1 million. The workers argued BART did not accommodate the religious vaccine exemptions. BART has not commented on yesterday's decision.
That's 2 good wins for the people versus the COVID lying machine. Okay, man, and you have to think to yourself, seriously, why were they so pumped up about putting this bioweapon in everybody and swabbing your DNA? Don't you guys remember those swabs? They had people lined up for miles just so they could pull in and get their nose swabbed. This is the craziest thing I've ever seen. And now they have the DNA. It was the largest DNA grab in history. So stay tuned on how all that works out, because I don't think it's going to end up very good. At the same time that we get the Bill Gates indictment and we get the BART transportation employees win the lawsuit, we also get the House drops a report about the COVID, and it is pretty much damning. Okay, the House report on HHS COVID propaganda is devastating. The Biden administration spent almost $1 billion, y'all. $1 billion just to scam you into taking that shot. Why would they do that? Why would they spend $1 billion to propagandize you into taking something? I want you to let that sink in right now. Just please let it sink in. Can you imagine the work that could have been done in North Carolina or Maui with $1 billion? That doesn't count all the money that we've sent to Ukraine, Palestine, all these other places just now. Like, it's off the chain, okay? Let me just go over a few things in here, and then, you can look this information up for yourself. HHS engaged a PR firm, FMG, For's Mars Group, for the propaganda campaign. The main goal was to increase the vaccine uptake, y'all. There is a strategy here. I hope you guys are paying attention. 1, exaggerate the COVID mortality risk. 2, downplay the fact that there was no good evidence that all COVID vax stops transmission. The COVID vax never stopped transmission. Even Fauci said it would. They all lied right to your face real time, and they all confused you and got you bamboozled. The propaganda campaign extended beyond the vax uptake, including exaggerating mask efficiency and pushing for social distancing and school closures. Ultimately, since the messaging did not match reality, the campaign collapsed public trust in public health. Ultimately, too, what happened was the teachers union actually pressured them into closing down the schools. They did not want to have the schools open. They wanted to have the 6-foot rule in. So that also helps with getting your kids on computers and getting the blue light in their face a lot more. You guys do your research about blue light and these LED lights and the such, okay? One more thing about here, the PR firm FMG drew most of its faulty science from the CDC governs guidance, which has ignored the US FDA findings that the vaccine limitations, as well as scientific findings from other countries that contradicted the CDC groupthink. 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 I want you guys to understand that a lot of the left, and I think some of the right, but definitely a lot of the left, they use think tanks to come up with all this stuff, y'all. Like, remember when Biden got busted with his papers? You know, he took the papers home and stuff, and then they were saying, like, he had given them to a think tank. Like, you guys, the think tanks are what a lot of this is causing our problems here in America. The NGOs, non-government organizations, that's a lot of the problems that we're having is because they're running wild with no accountability, being fed money from the feds. Okay, so they can do the dirty work because the feds can't, because everything the feds do, they have to vote on. And that's why the Chevron ruling was so important. That stripped the FDA, the USDA, the CDC, all of them, right? Even FEMA, all these agencies with letters on them, they all got stripped of their powers because Chevron ruled that only Congress in America can dictate laws to govern the people, not 3-letter agencies. Okay, so that's one thing you guys got to have in your head right now. If FEMA shows up, if maybe you were affected by some of this stuff, FEMA has no authority over you. And you tell them to get off your property if you don't want their help. Okay, those are 3 big-time COVID news stories right in your face that you could use. I'm going against the what do you call it? The programming right now. I'm going against the marketing. I'm going against the narrative right now because I'm trying to bring this back up into your attention so you guys can see how you were bamboozled. And once a lot of people can accept the fact that that happened there, they can start moving on to weather manipulation and literally taking out citizens. On the last clip I'm going to show you guys before you get out of here, this is the birth rate. Okay? If the goal is population control, if the goal is there are too many people, if that's the goal, well, then they're doing a good job at reconciling their plans. Okay? And I just want you to see that with your own eyes. Okay? If the goal is to depopulate, take a look at that chart. And then let that sink in for a little bit. But the good news is that maybe, possibly, Bill Gates will be held accountable. I don't know if it'll happen or not. But also, did you catch the end there where he said that they gave the Kamala Harris campaign $50 million?
You think maybe that's one of the reasons he chose to give $50 million to Kamala Harris?
I don't know if you guys follow this stuff or not, but I think Bill Gates normally doesn't support any political party. I mean, I think so. Go look it up. Let me know if I'm wrong. And in this case, he drops $50 million to get Kamala back in the office. So something suspect right there. Something suspect. Share this video with your friends, all right? And I'll see you guys on the next video. Make sure you subscribe. They're unsubscribing people from our channel.